Hi guys. This is sort of a nudge of encouragement to everyone out there who's possibly watching these. A lot of people ask me how I'm so brave. I'm not brave. I'm not. I'm just bullheaded and stubborn and a bit stupid sometimes. But my biggest tip is to never apologize for who you are. I will never, ever, ever feel sorry for who I am as a person. I will never feel bad for being transgender or for still being feminine and transgender. I will never feel sorry for being gay. I will never apologize for being a dandy at heart. I will never apologize for my modifications or for the way I choose to dress myself. I will never apologize for shaving off my eyebrows or for thinking that I don't need religion to be a good person. And you shouldn't either. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you believe or who you love or the kind of life you live. If it really is the life for you and you're being true to yourself, never apologize to anyone, ever. And don't ever let anyone make you feel bad for being who you are. I know that sounds way too simple for it to really work, but I'm 21, and during my middle school and the few years that I was in high school, and random secret tip of the day, I dropped out of high school in 10th grade, and I don't feel sorry for that at all. For my middle school years and the few years I was in high school, I was never bullied. And that's really strange, thinking that I live in a tiny little farm town where I was the first goth kid that ever lived here. Ever. Period. And currently still am the only one. Considering I was incredibly eccentric, and I, even at a young age, was modified and tattooed, and I had my head shaved, I was really strange as a child. But I was never bullied, because I would never let anyone make me feel bad for who I was. I didn't take crap from people. Part of that is accredited to the fact that I used to fight a lot when I was younger. Looks like my plug is gonna fall out. Um, and when kids would try to bully me, especially physically, I would fight back. And they stopped fighting me because I wasn't gonna take shit from people. And no matter what they said to me, they'd be like, "Hey, freak," and I'd be like, "Hey, what's up?" And they would say, "You're such a fag," and I'd be like, "Yeah, that's wow. It took you a while, didn't it? It took you a little while to come around." But I never let them make me feel bad, and it never did make me feel bad, because I figured I knew who I was more than they did, and I was going to bed at night and waking up in the morning knowing that no matter what I did, at least I knew who I was, and I was being true to myself, even if that meant having to deal with a few disparaging comments here and there. It didn't matter because I was happy and I was content with who I was, and who I am currently. There are a lot of things that people think I should feel bad for. Being vain, having dropped out of high school, not having a GED, being a starving artist, being queer, being trans, being femme, being goth, being modified, being an atheist, being a meat eater. Do I need to continue? Because believing in evolution, believing that polyamorous relationships are totally okay, believing that everyone, no matter who they love or who they don't love, has the right to have a family, adopt children, and get married. There are a million things that I could list off about myself that people hate, that everyone, if given the opportunity, would take a chance to try and beat me down over. Because if they had their way, I'd be the non-transgender little girl who lived next door, got good grades, was a cheerleader, and believed in God. But that's not who I am. I'm 21, I'm a drinker. I don't think that drugs are all that bad. And I currently am engaged to both my lovely boyfriend and a wonderful woman. She has a child, and he's mine too. And I dropped out of high school, and if I get my GED, I really don't care. But that's okay. Why? Because I'm happy. And I know what's right for me more than anyone else does. And that's how life should be. When you go to bed and something's bothering you because someone's been bullying you or teasing you or trying to beat you down over something, you know in your heart that it's wrong. That to change yourself to fit in and make everyone else happy, it's not a good idea. It bothers you and it'll sit wrong on your shoulders and it'll weigh you down for the rest of your life. So don't let them. There are very few things in life that are more important than knowing who you are and being happy and loving someone. And I don't care if you're 12 and gay, or if you're 15 and you just came out as transgender or can't find the courage to do so. I don't care if you're a Scientologist, or if you believe in evolution, or if you think that we're all just floating around on some tiny speck of dust. Don't ever let anyone take away from you what you know is yours. Don't let anyone bully you, and don't let anyone bring you down, because it's not worth it. People aren't worth it. It took me 21 years to figure out who I am. 21 years of heartache and headache and fighting and struggling and convincing people, and I changed myself so many times because I didn't want to deal with people, and looking back on it, it wasn't a good idea. And I'm glad that I got back to being who I really am, because people can tell that I'm content with my life and content with who I am, because I'm a much nicer person. When I changed everything I was to make everyone happy, I was miserable, and no one wanted to be around me, so it didn't matter if I had changed, because people didn't like me anyways. So, for all of you kids out there who are in middle school or high school or even elementary school if you're that young, don't take shit from people. That was the first thing my dad taught me when I was a child. He taught me how to fight, and he taught me to not let anyone treat me like I was a rug, or to walk all over me, or to give me shit for how I looked, or how I talked, or what I read, or what I did. And that still sticks with me. Be who you are. It doesn't matter if people like you. As long as you like yourself, you'll find your group. You'll find your cliche and your set of people who really do adore you for who you are. And that's what's important. Because people are going to hate you if you change yourself and you lie about who you are. Trust me, kids, I know. So, I guess this is sort of my It Gets Better video. Because as narcissistic and hedonistic and misanthropic as I can be, I know that things will get better in one way or another. And sooner or later, you will feel better about everything. And you'll find your stability, and you'll find your strength, and your quote-unquote courage, even if it's just being bullheaded and stubborn. You'll find it, and you'll get through it, and things will get better sooner or later. They might get worse before they get better, but that's okay, because it's our battles that make us who we are as people. All of the fights that we fight, that gives us our strength, and it helps create our story. And having stories are important. You don't want to be boring. So it does get better, kids. And keep your chins up, because it's really not all that bad right now. And I am, without a doubt, without even the smallest of doubts, sure that you will make it through this. No matter what this is, you'll make it through it, and you'll be a better person because of it. So I love you guys, all of you. No matter who you are, or where you're from, or what you're doing, or what you want to do. You guys are all fantastic. And I love all of you, and I have so much hope and faith in you. Just keep your chin up. And if you need to, look on the darker side of things. Sometimes it's a bit more fun that way.